Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Collecting 101. My name is Mike, and today's topic is very polarizing. There has been cops that have traded these for guns. There has been custody battles over these. There's also been, these have been smuggled from Canada to the United States. Of course, we are talking about Beanie Babies, something that was a phenomenon in the late 90s. It is now time, due to many requests, for us to tackle the Beanie Babies. So today we're going to discuss their history, their popularity, as well as their value. So let's start off with history. All right, so let's delve into the history of Beanie Babies. And we got to go all the way back to 1983, when aspiring actor Ty Warner left his job at Dakin Toys to pursue his own toy company. With an initial investment of $50,000, his first toys hit the market and were called the Himalayan Cats, which quickly sold out. Now, what made his stuffed animals unique were the use of plastic pellets instead of the standard stuffing material. Now, his competitors called him crazy for this, as well as compared his product to roadkill. Now, he sold 30,000 animals at his first toy fair in Atlanta, Georgia, proving everybody wrong. His main focus shifted after that to developing a toy that a kid could purchase with his own money, and he wanted to stay right around that $5 range. And of course, out came the original 9 Beanie Babies, which were introduced at the Chicago Toy Fair in 1994. Names like Spot the Dog, Squealer the Pig, Patty the Platypus, Brownie the Bear, which would later become Cubby the Bear for, I guess, obvious reasons, Chocolate the Moose, Pincher the Lobster, Splash the Whale, Legs the Frog, and Splash the Dolphin. So in the first year, he had 50 animals for sale, and none of them were at large retail shops. He focused on small gift shops and specialty stores. Now on to Ty's business plan, which I think is absolutely genius. He would only authorize Beanie Babies to be sold at small gift shops for the exclusivity. So he kept them out of the big box stores, so people had to visit these small little gift shops to find these Beanie Babies. He would retire certain animals to drive collectors to hunt for rare, hard-to-find animals. So, of course, making it something that you really wanted because you were afraid it might be gone. And he had perceived limited production. So certain Beanie Babies were only available in certain countries. And we'll talk about a little bit later when they get a deal with McDonald's, even in Happy Meals. So, of course, all the Beanie Babies had individuality as well. So they each had their own name, their own birthdays, and their own poem to go along with it. So those three things really drove collectors to go crazy for these things. Now, sales started to slow, but once Ty started restricting production and distribution while also retiring animals, that led to a huge increase in sales with a surging resale market as well. Because when he started taking them and restricting them from going to these gift shops, people were trying to find other ways to find them. So your resale markets really took off. Now, the popularity grew into a nationwide craze. As you guys can see here, people were going crazy for Beanie Babies. And like I said at the beginning of the video, there was even a custody battle over a Beanie Baby collection. I mean, that is crazy to even think about. Now, in 1996, McDonald's started producing the Teeny Beanies, which were sold in their Happy Meals. So starting a collaboration with the most popular fast food company, tell me there's anything smarter than that for Ty. I mean, that was a huge jump, gigantic rise in sales. I mean, Beanie Babies really took off after that, even though they were very popular before that. Now, as time got on and the reseller market went crazy, a little known eBay company came about that did some online auctions. I guess is something so popular now. I mean, who uses eBay, right? But eBay took off greatly with the Beanie Baby craze. And actually, from 1995 to 1997, Beanie Babies accounted for 6% of all sales on eBay, which is even crazy to think about now. 6%, that's a huge amount of sales, all consisting of the reseller market for Beanie Babies. Now, by 1999 or 1998, Ty had more than $1 billion in annual sales. $1 billion. I mean, when you talk about $1 million, $1 billion is unbelievable. Now, in 1999, Ty announced that they would cease product or cease production of the Beanie Babies, and that led to, of course, another huge boom in Beanie Babies. Once people found out that he was taking them away, it drove everybody back to the market. So again, eBay going crazy, reseller markets going crazy, shops going crazy. When people were getting these in, there was rushes to find these Beanie Babies. It was nuts. This is one thing we could talk about in Collecting 101 that I was actually alive for, which I was about 15 years old, 14, 15 years old at the time these came out. It was a national craze. I mean, you'd go to stores and there'd be empty shelves where Beanie Babies were. It was absolutely crazy. Now, the craze came to an end in the early 2000s when a new craze came about. the Pokemon cards. Now, Pokemon cards took over the market. Furbies were another thing that took over the market at the time, but never lasted. But even Pokemon cards nowadays are still crazy popular. I mean, people go and rush Costco's and Walmart's to find these packs. It was really the modern day, Beanie Babies, honestly. Now, consumers started trying to unload their collections after the boom left and the product started going down. Collectors were starting to try to unload all of their collections because they would, store them away in totes. This was their retirement. You guys got to understand how crazy this Beanie Baby craze was. People were holding all these thinking this was going to be their retirement, and everybody did it, but not everybody knew everybody did it. This was before social media where everybody was connected. Now it's the point where everybody saved all these and nobody knew that everybody else saved all these. I mean, it's kind of like Precious Moments was the same way. So what happened was when production started going down, sales started going down, the value started going down. So everybody was trying to unload their collection. And as we found out in these resale markets, everything got flooded. The rare Beanie Babies weren't so rare anymore. The valuable ones weren't so valuable anymore because there were so many of these that got flooded to the market. So yeah, guys, the history of the Beanie Babies is crazy. To watch a national craze like that it's pretty unbelievable to watch from a distance because I was not a Beanie Baby collector. So to me, watching it from a distance, seeing it, it was just unbelievable. So next topic we're gonna get into is the popularity of Beanie Babies, and stay tuned for that. All right, so let's delve into the popularity of Beanie Babies. So we're going to chat about some of the dolls you should be looking for, as well as what kind of categories you should be looking for when you talk about Beanie Babies. So the first one is a pretty self-explanatory one. It's the original 9. Those are some that the collectors are always looking for, and it's a great start to a collection as well. So the next one we're going to talk about is error Beanie Babies. Now these are where the value comes in on a lot of these because of small just imperfections that the manufacturer made or whatnot. So let's get into a few of those. First off, I want to talk about how very important research is to identifying these errors, because some errors that you might think are errors or not errors, they're intentional, or so it's going to take a lot of research on your end. But if you're getting into Beanie Babies, research is just a part of the game. And as much as any other things you're going to start collecting, research is so paramount. So the first one we're going to talk about is the swing/heart tag. And I'm going to call it the heart tag going forward because that is easier to identify in my opinion. They contain errors that up the value. The tush tag, which would be the tag, the little white tag on the butt, they could also contain errors. So those are the two things you want to look for when you guys are out looking at your Beanie Babies. So common errors you might see are misspelled words, incorrect birth dates, or incorrect style numbers. And again, these don't affect the value a ton, but they do make it so collectors do look for them a little more than others. So some of the misspelled words you might see are original, surface, or even beanie is sometimes misspelled on some of these. And again, all things that don't affect the value greatly, but it does up it a little bit and make something that collectors are definitely out there looking for. Now, a lot of times they don't, get into the rare Beanie Baby errors. Now, these things are can up the value a lot, and it's something that if you're a hardcore collector of Beanie Babies, you definitely want to be on the lookout for. So the first one is when they use PVC pellets instead of PE pellets. Now, the PVC at the beginning of the tag will say PVC if it was containing PVC, and until 1998. In 1998, due to environmental reasons, they changed over to the PE pellets. Now, some after that were accidentally still filled with the PVC pellets. So you're going to want to look at the tags. If the tags say, PVC pellets after a certain date, definitely have a little more money on your hands. Not a ton, but it definitely ups the value quite a bit as well. So, and as well as different heart tags, you'll see different heart tags on there than what is supposed to be there. So it'll have different spellings, different double tags, or whatever it may be. That will also increase the value as well. Again, these are for your hardcore collectors. As you guys will find out, Beanie Babies are going to have a lower amount of value when it comes to the collector's market. So when I say ups the value, it doesn't up the value tremendously, but it does make it something that a lot of collectors are out there looking for. And like I said before, the double tush tags are another thing that are quite sought after when it comes to the collector's market. And again, a lot of research has to go into this because the research is going to show you if it's an intentional error or if it's something that is actually an error. So, I mean, again, there's so many books, Facebook groups, Google, you name it. There is so many options you have out there to study your Beanie Babies. But again, when it comes to collecting and it comes to popularity, it really comes down to just what you like. It doesn't have to be what other people think are popular. It really just comes down to what you like. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the limited quantity Beanie Babies. Now, these are ones that were released in very small numbers, which makes them very sought after. So I'm going to murder this guy's name on the first one. French chef Joel Rubicon. He only had, he released Beanie Babies at his own shop. His own restaurant. So his own restaurant, he released a limited number of Beanie Babies. So those are, again, very sought after. The number one bear, which is a red bear, as you guys can see in this picture here. It was a special tribute to Ty Warner. So that's something that is really cool as well. And again, a lot of these, when we get into the value point, we'll talk about, condition and why, certain condition is going to up the value a lot on these rare, limited quantity Beanie Babies. The next one we're going to show you is the Millennium Bear. Again, 2000, I was alive, of course, and Y2K crazy was definitely a thing back then. So the Millennium Bear is definitely out there. Then you got the Coral Casino Bear. This was for guests at the Coral Casino in Beach Club in California. So again, very limited number of these are released to guests, which makes them very sought after and very hard to come by. You don't see too many of them out there, as you can see in this picture here. If you guys do come across one, they can fetch you some good money. Then you got the Billionaire Bear. This was made in reference to the 1 billion bears that were sold by Beanie Baby or by Ty and the Beanie Baby franchise. So that's another one they look for as well. These are all like commemorative bears that a lot of people out there look for, and it looks really good in a collection as well. Then, of course, the one I remember the most was the Princess Bear, which was in memory of Princess Diana. I've come across a few of them in my time, not ones in like really great condition. So nothing too crazy. But those are just small examples of the popular bears that are out there. But again, there's so many different styles, different names, different animals. You name it, there's tons of Beanie Babies out there for us. So whatever you want to collect in this realm of, Beanie Babies, please do. Don't, base it off of the popular choice and what other people think is cool, what other people think is popular. Collect what you want to collect, and that's the best part about being in this business and getting into collecting anything like Beanie Babies, is just doing what you want to do. It doesn't have to be what everybody else likes, but these hopefully give you a few examples of what people are out there looking for and what they consider to be the most popular. So let's get to the next part of our video, which is the value of your Beanie Babies. All right, so let's delve into the value of your Beanie Baby collection. So of course, you guys know how I always start this. I start this off talking about condition. Condition is paramount when it comes to Beanie Babies. Flawless, are the ones you want to look for, but we're gonna go through each category of condition when it comes to Beanie Babies and what you should be looking for and how it correlates to the value of them. So we're going to start off with a mint condition Beanie Baby. This has no wear, no tear, just pristine, all tags. I mean, this is no smell. It's been really preserved as best as it possibly can be. And again, that's where you get the full value of your beanie. So if it's worth $5, it better be in pristine condition to get that full $5 out of it. Or if it's worth $1,000, it better be in pristine condition. And a lot of times you guys will show, as I'll show you here, they have really nice little display cases you can put these in that really help preserve the value. We've bought a huge collection a long time ago that had a ton of these cases. I thought were, they really helped. And honestly, they helped sell the Beanie Babies because people know that they were well taken care of. The next we're going to talk about is near mint, which is slightly worn, maybe a bent tag. So you're going to get about 80 or 90% of the value. So if it's worth $5, you got to look into that maybe $4 to $450 range. And then, of course, we're going to get into excellent condition, which is creased or worn tags, maybe a little rough on the edges when it comes to condition of the actual bear. You're going to get about 65 to 75% of the value. Then you got very good, which is maybe missing or torn or worn tags. Again, but if you have a rare one, you're still going to fetch about 40 to 60% of the value. And then you got poor condition, which is torn or ripped. That is what I call throw them away. Because they say 0 to 25% of the value. To me, again, guys, Beanie Babies are just one of those things you come across of quite a bit. If it's torn and ripped, I don't think it's worth holding on to. But some of you hardcore collectors, you do you, man. And hopefully you can maybe bring them back to life and hopefully, maintain that 25% of the value. And then sometimes I guess it's worth it, but most time I guess it wouldn't be. All right, so a lot of times we talk about why do the people have these items? Why are people holding on to Beanie Babies? And 100% it's nostalgia. Nostalgia is what drives this market for Beanie Babies. People remember the hunt that their mom went on to find them, or the collection that their grandparents had for them, or whatever it may be. Nostalgia is the leading factor when it comes to this. Those memories have such a large effect, and that's when it comes across all these collecting videos. When it comes to Pyrex, everybody remembers, grandma cooking with Pyrex. And when it comes to, you name it, there's some sort of memory that's going to, make it so people want to collect these items. So let's get into your value portion of this video. Now, most Beanie Babies you come across are going to be in that $1 to $5 range. That is just what it is. I don't care what anybody says about, the rarities of some of these. It's $1 to $5. When we get into these top 3 items in eBay sold listings, I can only preface it, guys, by saying this is just what I'm finding on there, because I don't think they're selling for that much. But again, they're going to make a renaissance, I believe, at some point, because I really do think people are going to get more nostalgic on them, and I think they might jump up a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a ton. You might go from $1 to $5 to maybe $5 to $10. So I don't think it's nothing too crazy, but if it's something you want to hold on to, man, I totally support it, and I think it's something that you definitely should try out. If you want to get into these collecting things. Now, if you get into the more rare bears, that's where we're kind of getting to where it's into the money. The rare error car or the error bears, or some of these rarer, hard to find bears, you could get anywhere from $50 to $100 to $200, $300, $400, $500, and sometimes even more than that if you find the right buyer. Just like anything, I could have $1,000 piece, but if I can't find no one to spend $1,000 on it, it's not worth $1,000. So some of those rare, hard to find ones can definitely fetch you more value, so that's something you want to consider as well. So guys, let's get into the my favorite portion of these videos, of course, which is the top 3 highest selling Beanie Babies on eBay. And again, I will 100% preface this by saying I don't necessarily 100% believe all these prices, but I did go through the descriptions and try to find to see what would make these harder to come by or harder to evaluate, and a lot of these were errors. And so I could see maybe that you have a hardcore collector that will pay for it, but we'll see. So let's start off with number 3. We have the error puncher lobster. As you guys remember, it's the pincher lobster, was one of the original 9. This one had the puncher tag on it. So it's an error puncher lobster, has a first generation tags on it. So the tush tag as well as the heart tag has the first generation. It is in flawless condition, which is authenticated in flawless condition. So that's helpful as well. I mean, anytime you get something authenticated, it's always helpful. Sold for $2,990. Again, do I believe it 100%? Not 100%, but you never know. There's collectors for everything out there, and if somebody really wanted it, I guess that could be the way to go. And then, of course, number 2 on the list. Sorry, my cat is getting into a bread pan that Amber is not going to be very happy about. Number 2 on our list is the Teddy Brown with the first generation swing and tush tag. It's authenticated pristine. Again, the authentication is super important. Like when we talked about sports cards in one of our Collecting 101 videos, anytime you get graded, authenticated, people are putting their stamp on it, it's definitely a good thing, and it can definitely raise up the value. So this one sold for $3,000. So again, somebody could have been out there buying it, guys. I'm not gonna fight them. I'm just saying it's what it is. People are out there. If they spent that much, more power to them. There must be someone they wanted. Okay, and then of course, number 1 on our list, and this is the one I actually thought would be number 1. Just because that's the one I've always heard had the most value. I found the Princess Bear with errors. So the heart tag had errors as well as the tush tag had an error. They were small errors, but again, something that pumped up the value. One was said it was produced in Korea, not in China, which is I guess a huge thing, which would make it worth more money. The tush tag had errors with the spacing on some of the words again. So I don't know. I'm just basing off what I see on eBay. I know there could be, false bids and stuff like that, but hey, that's not part of the game I play, guys. I just look it up and that's what we go by. So that one sold $6,000. $6,000. Again, do I believe it? Not always 100%, but hey, that's what they're telling me. That's what I'm going by, guys. There was plenty on there that I did research on that I couldn't find why it was selling for so much, so I didn't include them. That one, it shows that they're errors. Maybe there's collectors out there that really are hunting for those kind of errors. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of these errors. Maybe they're worth that much. I just don't play that game, guys. I don't know. I'm just reading off what I read. So yeah, guys, that's our stories on the Beanie Babies. The history, I thought, was very interesting. That Ty Warner it's such a great story, like pretty much bucking the trend on what everybody thought he should do, did something completely different, did his own thing, made money. I mean, it's such a great story when you hear people make their own path and not have to follow somebody else's, try something new and succeed. I think at the peak of his earnings, he was at about $6 billion was his worth. And I think to this day, he's still worth $2.1 billion, which is, that's awesome. It's a self-made guy that had the right idea, the right plan. I mean, that's something that's just awesome to hear. The history was just absolutely crazy. And then popularity, we delved into what's popular, those Air ones, the original 9s, those are another thing. And then, of course, the value. The eBay sold listings, I'm not necessarily, putting 100% behind, but hey, who am I to say, guys? Who am I to say? That's just what I'm going by. And then, of course, if you want to start this, I think this as a collector's market is super affordable. There's plenty of them out there. I mean, it could be a good collection to get into just because of how affordable and abundant it is. So you should be able to find a bunch of them out there and then make a great collection of them, and they display really well too. So yeah, guys, I really appreciate you watching this video today. Please, of course, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that great stuff. If you guys want to comment some of the other Collecting 101 videos you'd like to see, I am throwing these things out like crazy because I want all this information out to you guys. And then, of course, if you guys want to share it to people, subscribe to the channel, just know every time you comment on a video, I am commenting back. It is me literally commenting everything back to you guys. I'm here to help. I am here to make sure everybody is knowledgeable in this reselling, collecting game that we all play. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. And of course, when we talk about collecting, it's always about your memories over money. See you guys later.